recap of this week and going into tomorrow, which is the last day of the week, which is NFP, or otherwise known as non-farm payrolls. If you take a look at the calendar on Forex Factory, you can see tomorrow we have average hourly earnings, non-farm employment change, which again it's can refer to as the NFP, and the unemployment rate. So let's take a look at the Euro USD, which is what I trade. And I'm going to kind of go back to the review of the last trade that I made, and well, the two trades that I made actually from before. I apologize for not uploading a weekly recap last week. I actually was really busy with friends and family. It was my birthday, so I didn't have a chance to do the actual video, but which is fine because I'm going to show you right now. We didn't really make any crazy significant moves, but before we get into that, I ask you, of course, to subscribe and like the video. It really helps the channel grow and encourages us more future videos and more content. All right, so I'm going to use the replay tool as I always do, just to show you guys what unfolded on the last trade that we were in. I was looking for a high to resistance point, which is right here, and I was targeting this pivot zone, the pivotal level right over here, which you saw back here. There was some significant support before the market went off. So once we started moving forward, this was the target that we were looking for. We actually got short up here, and I'll show you the reason why. Again, I take my support, I'm sorry, in this case, the resistance to support, and we went short up here, a really nice entry. And once the market came down, added another short here, and this was the zone that we were looking for. So as I was mentioning before, this was going to be a very critical area to look to see if the market's going to continue lower or if it's going to bounce back up. So once we got that bounce, you can see a move right back up. It did find resistance here, right? It was still respecting this trend line. But once it started pushing up past this, the trades were actually closed that I had from up here, and we still made a nice profit. So this candle really much set the signal that we need to get out, and that was that was the course of action that we took. I was looking for actually support at this trend line. Now, one of the things, again, you guys can go back and check out the trend line video that I made on the channel, on the educational side of the channel. Once I start seeing that the market's not respecting the trend line anymore, I get rid of it. I don't look at it anymore. I don't bother trying to figure out, is this market still going to find support here or resistance? That just shows me, based on many years of experience trading with those trend lines, that the market doesn't respect those lines anymore, and it's not a good idea to trade off of them anymore. We need to start looking for new clean trend line support and resistance levels. So that was that. You guys can see, again, I mentioned that this pivotal area right over here was going to be a very important area. Again, the market came down to this into this zone and bounced right back up. Now, it started to go up. Now, this was interesting because once it started going up, for those that are familiar with hidden divergence, I'll just call it hidden divergence for now, but again, I call it trend continuation divergence because usually this happens when the market's going to continue in the trend that it was originally going, the direction it was originally going in. But if I take I have a divergence trend line that I have saved that I can use. But every time the MACD starts making a lower low and I see price making a slightly higher low, that's a signal that this market is potentially going to head in the same direction. Now again, you can go back to my other video which I did on MACD divergences and see how that plays out. And I give you guys examples of hidden divergence and regular divergence. So in this case, it would be hidden divergence. So again, MACD makes a lower low. this is the last low, and this is the next low potentially, right? And but the price action is not agreeing with that. It's still finding support above this this bottom support zone. Even it might be, in some cases, some people might say this is kind of like the same level, but even if that's the case, the MACD is significantly lower than this low right over here. Okay, so I was looking to see if buyers would come into this area, and and it looks like they were. But if I remove that and we go forward, you can see this market started taking off and potentially, well, actually did make a slightly higher close than the previous resistance zone. So this probably set off some traders who wanted to look at this next level up here into going long. And this was right before, I believe it was the Federal Reserve Chairman Powell. He was testifying, and of course, he talks about the economy and inflation and the economy as a whole. And as soon as he started making those comments, you can see what happened next, right? A complete washout of this whole area right over here. Okay, so I think this was about a 1.2, so slightly 1.2% move down, which is pretty big. You can see it wiped out, a little over a week and a half of gains right over here. So again, this came back to this zone. So I wanted to look for a position to maybe go short, and I actually did place a short once we started moving lower. But once the next day came through, this didn't really sell me that the market wanted to continue lower yet. I know I made a previous statement on the price. I wanted to see price actually trading below 1.055, which in this case we were slightly below that, right? 1.0541 or 1.0542, but it still didn't convince me yet. So you can see this next day, which was yesterday, move right back to that pivot zone. And then now this is a live chart of what's happening right now. So here's the thing. The market to me doesn't have a definite direction yet. You can see this, again, this comes back to that pivotal zone that I was talking about. You can see right over here, it's sticking to this area. At the beginning of the year, it found strong support, came down to find support again here, and didn't really rally that much higher until it came right back down and crushed everybody that was holding along here. And now it's sticking to this area right now. So the bullish case for this, for the euro, is, it's, if we look down below, okay, in terms of divergence, you can see this is a hidden divergence. We have the market kind of making a slightly higher, okay, and it's at that support zone, okay. And even if I were to use, for example, a Fibonacci retracement, I mean, just eyeballing it from this low to this high, this has to be around 27% or so, or maybe even 40, but we'll take a look at that right now. Let's take a look here. We'll draw it all the way from the bottom all the way up here. So, okay, so a little below the 27% retracement, okay. It looks like it continue higher. However, I want to see this market convincingly take this high out. Again, it doesn't look neither fully bearish or bullish to me yet. But my plan going forward is, and tomorrow's NFP, so we should get some good price action. At least in a good initial move. Maybe I might make a big spike up and then pull back and create a long wick, or maybe I might create a long wick lower and a big push up, or maybe even stay flat, right? Who knows? But in this case, this big red candle here is telling me that the bears really want to push this right back down. I mean, it couldn't really get it. Even if it got above this high, it still pushed right back along. It crushed everything that was here. So if I had to pick a direction, I'm going into NFP flat. But what I do want to see is I would like to see a move below this trend line again. I'm going to take this high to this low, which is an obvious support. And if we start crushing below this and start trading below this level here, I'll look for shorts and then look for the next median zone would be right here. This is what I would look for. If we start trading higher, I want to see more of a convincing push to the upside above this median level up here. But you know, this would have to be a really strong push. But again, it doesn't mean that it can't happen. It could definitely happen, but it's just a game of wait and see, right? It's just a game of patience right now. And the last trend line that I had before this other one that I had, the trade that I took on the short side, I had this resistance to the support. And it would be nice to see if it does push up. Maybe we will look for a resistance here, okay? Because we have our resistance to our support. You can see, let me zoom up a little bit. You can see this nice wick, nice rejection, and then another rejection in the same area. And then if we push higher, maybe we can look for shorts here, or if it starts trading above that, then we can start looking for maybe up in this zone for a potential nice run. But we'll have to see what happens with NFP. Of course, if we extend the tomorrow, right after NFP and unemployment rate and average hourly earnings, next week we have CPI numbers. I mean, next week is packed with economic data, right? News releases, you know, inflation numbers. We got ECB press conference, and then of course the following week we also have the FOMC statement, federal funds rate, and the economic projections, which Chairman Jerome Powell, he always does this thing on the at the 2 o'clock meeting, right, Eastern Standard Time. So we're going to take a look quickly at the weekly chart. Okay. Now after this really nice move to the downside, can we found the footing here again? It tried to stay above this level, which I thought it was going to push much higher than this. Okay, and especially because we have this gap over here that we still haven't filled. Right there, there's a nice gap that the market, I think, would like to fill. But again, when it comes to gaps, I don't really put too much weight into it, because I've seen in the past a gap, even if the market gaps down or gaps significantly higher, that gap could stay open for, you know, a year or two before it's filled. So you definitely don't want to always, you know, go by the gaps, but I thought the market was going to try to fill it with this move before it finally, you know, gave way and came to the downside. So here we are again. This is a weekly viewpoint. You can see that it's finding some footing right here at this, again, this median level. This is the same levels that I had on the daily chart. This is just on a weekly time frame. And again, that's what's kind of putting me off to try to be fully bullish, is because we even found support on that median level right over here, this dotted median level, and we couldn't stay above it. And we even found resistance towards it. But I think this level right over here is going to be a nice battle, and we'll see tomorrow what kind of reaction, if this holds, or if the market just gives up and then we start going lower and then open the way up to 1.01 all the way down here. And again, on the weekly time scale, let me draw that Fibonacci for you, which is a 62% retracement. I know the original is 61.8%. I like to round my Fibonacci levels to a whole number, so that's why I have it at 62%. But it matches up perfectly with what target I would have, even if I didn't know the Fibonacci level was there, due to the fact that the median levels are there, short term and long term. That's the level I would look to take profit in, and it just so happens to be at 62%. So that would be a nice area to look for profit. Again, and also up here, 27%, found support up here, finding a little bit of resistance, and it's just hanging around this zone. There's a lot of confluence here, and there's no, at least for me, there's no clear direction on what the market wants to do. So the best thing to do, the best course of action, is to be patient and give it time, let the market develop to give you the the full story of what the market wants to do. And again, we'll just go ahead and adjust from there onto going into next week. So with that said, this is going to be the video for this week. You're probably viewing this on Friday. This is I'm doing this on a Thursday, and you guys will probably see it on a Friday, so a little before NFP. But see, the market's trying to move up a little bit here, even though it tried to make had a wick going. But we'll see if it holds up. So that said, I would again just like and subscribe. It really helps the channel grow. And I will be doing another recap on Friday. Well, maybe I'll start doing Thursdays, but Fridays are good since we get a whole picture, a whole recap of the entire week, and then getting ready for the next week. So with that said, have a good night. Trade safe during NFP. It's always volatile, or it can be very volatile, and definitely has a tendency to make big fake moves and get people into bad positions or impulse trades. So yeah, trade safe and manage the risk, and I will see you on the next recap video. Take care.